So today, good day, sir. Good day, co-cadets. So we are the group 3, and today we are going to tackle all about the global media cultures. So together with my group mates, Moradas Leonil, PITOGO John Volter, GOOPIO Ramil, ANOBA John Amshel, LEYVA Kenneth Vincent, RACOMA Alexis, and yours truly, Umbao Ray. So, um, this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. So, the first reporter is John Volter Pitugo.
So, I am Cadet John Walter C. PITOGO. So, I am the one that will report globalization of culture through media. So, first, the received view about the globalization of culture is one where the entire world has been molded in the image of Western. So the globalization, what I mean is the globalization in of the culture is molded by the Western. So because the globalization in Western is high and popular, so mainly the American. So the Americans. So we all know that the American culture is one of the biggest impact of the world because American culture is popular and the other countries is adopting the culture of the Western American culture because of its popularity and the advanced technology that they have. That's why we are aligned. We are aligned with the other culture. So in the popular and professional discourse as alike, the popularity of Big Macs, Baywatch, and MTV are those as unmistakable sign of fulfillment of Marshall McLuhan's head of global village. So, so they are the Big Macs and Baywatch are in sign of the global village. So the next is the globalization of culture is often chiefly impute, imputed to international mass media. So, as the word globalization of culture is often currently, so globalization is around the world, and the media is spreading the information. So that's why the culture are spreaded into other countries. So, after all, contemporary media technologies such as satellites, television, and internet have created a steady flow on national image that connects audience worldwide. So, we all know, we all people use satellites, television, and so by that we will know the culture because other countries spread their culture like when they eat some like us we eat lechon in our culture. So the other country will adopt it because we use that somehow as an advertise to make our culture beautiful, make beautiful. So we encourage other culture to have a wonderful idea of us. So like we have a wonderful places, so like that. So next, so without global media, according to the conventional wisdom, how would teenagers in India, Turkey, and Argentina embrace Western lives like night shoes, Coca-Cola, and rap music? So, as the word is implied by the sentence, so so the teenagers in India, Turkey, we all know that India and Turkey are not that um are not that you know not that super influence that they can interact with many countries because of the media or the television that they use. They can create lifestyle that can bring themselves into western culture, so they will adapt to have night shoes. They will know that the western culture have night shoes, and they will adapt it, so they will know by the technology and television, and also they will experience Coca-Cola, rock music because of the western culture. They will adapt it. Also us in the Philippines, we should embrace we are embracing the culture of other countries. So like my shoes, we embrace that. Coca-Colas, we embrace, and rock music. So hence the relative strong influence of the mass media on globalization of culture. So will big impact. So the culture globalization to other people is a big impact for us to the people around the country. So next is the role of the mass media in the global of culture is a contest issue in internal communication theory and research. So the role of mass media is a big impact also because in contested issue international communication for research. So by giving some having some research, so mass media is very essential to us. So early theories of media influence, commonly referred to as magic bullet of hypodermic needle. So magic bullet. So wala siya ganang all the people talk about it because it's so very popular like that. Needle theory. So believe that the mass media had powerful effect of over audience. So mass media, we all the people is looking at mass media because like television and other communication in the media. So that brings power of so that mass media will communicate to the people like us, all people, so into the audience. They will bring culture to other culture, to other culture, to other culture. So since then, the debate about media influence has undergone an flow that has prevented and resolution of agreement among researchers as to the level, scope, and implication of media influence. So the research on prevented the researchers has prevented a resolution. They will get the informations, the scope, influence, and media influence. So they research it so that they will know the main purpose of it. So next, so nevertheless, the K theoretical formulation of international communication clung to a belief in power media effect on culture and communities. So So the important theoretical formulation to the power. So it is combined to the powerful media. So culture and communities. So as we all know in the report in the first slide, so I report that the communication mass is a big impact. So so it is very powerful. And at the same time, a body of literature questions scope and level influence of transnational media has emerged. So transmedia has emerged by the word emerge. Like, mm, it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So bigger and bigger. So it is expanding. It is expanding because of the mass media. So you can because you can as I said, you can see it on the televisions like that, like advertisement. Whereas some scholars with that tradition question cultural imperialism without providing conceptual alternatives. So by cultural imperialism, so they didn't give provide an conceptual alternatives. So alternatives is the way it is. So others have drawn on an interdisciplinary literature from across the social science and humanities to develop theoretical alternative and cultural imperialism. So the cultural imperialism is a is very vague. So connected to it is connected to the mass media. So we should embrace that and because it is connected to the people and to the other countries. Next, so and also analyze how various media drive various form of
Ako,
global
ako na tol.
interaction. Explain the dynamic between local global culture production.
Ako na tol.
So cannot label will report it.
So, I am Engine Cadet LEYVA. So, I'm going to report these, analyze how various media drive various forms of global integration, and explain the dynamic between local and global cultural production. So, next tol. Uh, next ko na tol. Dili pa ni mo ako.
Balik-balik.
Ibabak na lang. Okay, so kuha na lang how various media drive various forms of global integration. So the mass media today are
Ako na
seen
dun, role.
as playing a key role in enhancing
Atong role by
globalization.
RACOMA.
Katutol, sakto na to. Back to
Kana,
back.
moto ako kana. Ay,
Leyva pa na, Leyva.
next.
Back kana okay. So balik ko how media drive various forms of global integration. So the mass media today are seen as playing key role in enhancing globalization and facilitating cultural exchange and multiple flows of information and images between countries through international news, broadcast, televisions, programming, new technologies, film, and music. So the media plays major role in globalization. Various media are used for globalization to work all over the world. So, media components such as television, internet, computers, etc., are considered to have significant influence of globalization. So, thus, globalization is not possible to occur without media. So without language, so we wouldn't be able to communicate. So the printing press preserve knowledge for future use. So example for electronic media allowed opportunities to spread all over the world. So also the radio and television is powerful mass medium in providing accessible information for people. So the three elements of global integration. Next all. Next, ayo ibak. Nice. So there are three elements of global integration. So first, the liberalization. Second, privatization. Global, and next is the globalization. So first, the liberalization. Every government imposes restrictions on the way its citizens conduct business activities. So one way of doing this is by making it compulsory for people to obtain several licenses and permissions for business. So this process, for example, was called license ra. So liberalization basically refers to the removal of these restrictions. So this happens when the government removes unnecessary license requirements, allows more freedom in conducting business, dilutes regulation and reduces taxes. So another way to do it by making imports and exports easier. Then liberalization has been responsible for several large MSCs coming to India. Then the government has been able to attract crores of rupees as foreign capital because of it. So the next is privatization. So privatization is simply means allowing private players and companies to conduct business. So this did not happen commonly before 1991 because the government controlled many industries. It also implies with withdrawal of states interference business. So the main objectives of this privatization are to reduce the burden on taxpayers, encourage private competitions, facilitate capital inflow, and etc. So some common modes by which government indulge in privatization include disinvestment, franchising, public-private partners, and liquidation of public sector undertakings due to privatization. So there are very few government companies remaining in the India now. So the ones that remain do not even enjoy the monopoly, and governments companies like Air India, ONGC, LIC, and HAL have to compete with the private companies and MNCs. So the next is the globalization. So the restricted nature of India's economy before 1991 had made it over dependent on local companies. Indian films only competed amongst each other. So foreign companies thus could not even think of working here. This finally changed when India adopted globalization. So globalization, in simple words, means growing interdependence between countries with regards to the business and trade. Modern means communication and transportation technology have made possible even in international organizations and treaties between countries and have played a big role in globalization. So next all. So how various media drive various kuan so manay ko anig answer so ang culture na to. Wait lang. So the dynamic between local and global cultural production. So the global culture production is to bring unity among all mankind, and its dynamics is to bring the negative thoughts into positive reality through advancement of civilization. So sa uh, local cultural production, the dynamic of local culture might be considered as the specific dynamics occurring within the population of a specific community, dependent upon that community's intellectual awareness of itself. So each specific local culture will adopt specific truth according to the local dynamic influences existing the specific community. So like things like things tend to attract like things, same value system. So same worldview and also same customs and behaviors, dressing, hairstyle, community activity in common shared by that specific community. Next one. Wait lang Ako naman Ako naman gibasa.
So good.
Na nawahi lang na. Next na lang.
Gupyo na, gupyo. Balik ba?
Kagopyo na.
I-back lang tol. Back.
Kagopyo na din na.
So good.
Sige, sige. Sige,
Good
thank you.
morning, sir. So I'm Engineering Cadet GOOPIO. So I'm gonna report what is the role of media in a globalization. So nowadays, mass media plays a key role extension of a globalization process. So the key media components such as television, internet, and computers. So nowadays, media has a big impact and also extension of globalization because through media we can easily now see more or like to see a new news or issues like in a television, internet or computer. So, also are considered to have a promote influence on the globalization. Also, because of a globalization process, today there is an increased access to a broad range of media. So we can say there are more access range of media because of the like um, transaction or ordering of a other country like we can see kanang trading system. So next is which play a very important role in shaping human minds and has an immense an impact of our society, personal lives. So kani ipasabot sa social lives, personal social lives like social media to through texting or ordering some items. So these two equally important processes interact with each other and provide mutual assistance in the expansion of the sphere of influence. So sphere of influence means influence of other to use a social media. So when we back without a social media like letters, so the letter writing means it will take a week, months, or even years the receiver to receive the letters. But now through our social media, it's a big impact to our conversation. So we can easily direct receive the message or the order that we are going to purchase. So next door, the media is a part of a globalization process. It's like a pen of the globalization process. When it's like a pen means a pen. Pen is a big impact to our globalization. Without pen, so we can even not write or give a signature. So it's also like a media. It's a big impact to our globalization. So because media shares everything that the globalization process indicates. So here we can see that explain that media shares everything. So we all know that media can share everything in a shares everything like our personal life, like a Facebook or other things that we can share to globalization. The important role of in a globalization process as internet which connects all the countries around the world. So here it has a big impact. The media has a big impact or role of globalization through internet. So through internet we can access more sites like apps that apps or messaging or Facebook. Like apps is the shipping apps too. Through shipping apps we can order or trading a system around the world. So it has a big impact to our community right now, and also to other consumers to order or to post their things to be sold. So next,
Hi everyone, I am Engine Cadet John Amshalel ANOBA. So, the pros and cons of media globalization. So, when we say media globalization, it is the worldwide integration of media through the cross-cultural exchange of ideas. When we say pros and cons, it is the advantage and the disadvantage of media. So, the pros of media globalization. The advantage of globalization through social media are countless. We can participate creatively and actively to share our own opinions in media. Free communication discloses different information and benefit from its speed and variety. So in this day, almost everything that surrounds us could be considered as global media like the television, smartphones, radio, and internet. Media is the definitive root of our digital today, and it comprises of things that consist of every little bit of information that seamlessly flow from one channel to another. Media presents people with convenience and advancements where everyone across the globe could stay interconnected through social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. People all around the world are no longer limited by time and distance, as the speed of information could travel faster than all that we could actually speak and think of. The media are to be seen as playing a key role of enhancing globalization and facilitating cultural exchange of multiple flows of information and images between countries through international new broadcast television programming, new technologies, film, and music. That's all.
So I'm Engine Cadet Alexis RACOMA. So cons. The disadvantage of media is the flow of inappropriate content to certain age group. With easy access to television and the internet, young children and the teenagers are exposed to inappropriate content such as pornography, drug use, violence, and criminal activities. So, um, from what I have understood, media is an open platform from everyone. So, especially here in our country, which is a democratic one, then being in a free country like our has a cons when it comes to accessibility in media, as children can watch inappropriate content that are not suitable for their age and will give a negative influence to them as the age. So people should be mindful, especially the parents, to always look out for their child welfare when it comes to media. So that's all.
So, hi sir. Oh, good day sir. Good day co-cadets. So, I am Indian Cadet Umbao Ray, and my topic to this report is there a globalization without a media? So uh, for a little recap background of globalization and media. So first is globalization is a result of media and migration. So in that sense, we can understand that globalization is it is a result of media and migration. When we say media, media like social media platforms and etc. And then migration like when you migrate to another place, or sample migrate your markets to another markets or international scales of markets, or you can expand or widen your territories. So next is it is not ideally it is not a simple one-way process. So when we hear not like delay, or it is not simple way one process, the uh, we, we we think that we think that it is not very easy. It has struggles, trials, and problems that you may encounter. Like for example, the apparadise argument of this juncture and the existence of multiple landscapes, and also the globalization occurring from both developments from west and east. So um, so when we say globalization, um, it is the process by which businessmen or other organizations develop international influence. So what motto, as I've said earlier, um, so globalization from the word globalization, global. Also global, it means international influence. So it can widen your uh, connections and affiliations to other markets, or start operating on international scale. Oh yes, that is one also. You can start operating a international, so you have really a wide connections. So when we hear the word international, uh, we can easily think and understand that uh, we can easily think and understand what is globalization. So from layman's term, muna ang global. We can easily understand that it is global or globalization. So next is furthermore, globalization has changed the world in both good and bad ways. So if it is the goods of the if we have good side of the globalization, it has increased the uh, example, it has increased interconnectivity between people across the world with the help of media and communication. So the good side of the globalization, kay, it has increased interconnectivity between people across the world through media and communication. And the people thinking, kay, if there is a positive side, there will always be a negative side. So also there are bad people who use globalization in bad way. They use it for crime through connections worldwide. They can transact easily international because of the globalization. So even though we can globalization can occur without a media, it is media also helps the globalization. But again, globaliz it globalization can still occur even though without a media. So however, one may argue that a major consequence of globalization is that it eliminates face-to-face interaction, which is the logical in a context of presence, which involves a two-way flow of information and dialogical character. So also, that it is also one of the consequence nga mo occur through globalizations, which is it eliminates face-to-face interaction to the people that you need to talk or discuss about something important matters about the business or whatsoever. So it can eliminate the co-presence, which is dialogical. So when we say dialogical, it refers to the use of conversation or shared dialogue to explore the meaning of something. So next slide. So we are now in the I'm going to answer now the question: is there a globalization without media? So to answer my topic, is there a globalization without a media? So the answer to that is yes. It can still we can still have a globalization even though it has no media. So based on my research and also the reliable sources, globalization is just it is like a bridge to businessmen, peoples, and markets or everything, and also companies to widen their markets or to have a new market, and also to add up their territories like in Philippines. Then through globalization you can connect to other countries or other other continents or etc. So so uh, but we can say media also help. Yes, we can really say that media also helps the globalization. But again, globalization could still occur without the media. So absolutely, there'd be globalization without the media. Like for example, the banking, the trade, the crime, all happen regardless. So the banking, even though without the media, it can still occur. The trade, the crime, and etc. I do wager that if there was no media scrutiny, globalization would happen a damn sight faster. So, and to say that globalization has nothing to do with the media. Globalization is about creating a dispersed market, supply chain delivering goods and services outside our own domestic market. And to summarize all my topic, I can say that globalization can still occur without media, and in addition to the globalization started without the media we have today. So if you realize, um, sa una we don't have any media or any connection, any internet. So that's why from that the answer is already given that um, globalization can still occur even though without a media. So that's all to my end. So the next reporter will be Moradas Lionel.
Good day, sir. I'm Cadet Linel Moradas, and I'm here to report Is media globalization a form of cultural imperialism? But before that, we need to know what is cultural imperialism. Cultural imperialism, also called colonialism, comprises the cultural aspect of imperialism. Imperialism here refers to the creation and maintenance of a unequal relationship between civilization, favoring a more powerful civilization. So Filipinos have different kind of cultural imperialism. We have the Spanish imperialism, we have the American imperialism, and also we have the Japanese imperialism. So Spanish imperialism. Everywhere you go, you can see different houses that built in the Spanish era. Also, Filipino are very fluent in English. It also been we adapted it to the Americans, and some of us Filipino we have a blood of the Japanese and also the kind of culture of the Japanese. So globalization facilitates global communication and the spread of cultural perspective through new media and technological advancement. And some argue that globalization is therefore a tool of cultural imperialism. In global communication today, cultural imperialism manifests itself mainly through media, especially mainstream and mass media. Media is one of the most prominent and visible forms of the global communication. Although cultural imperialism theory also focuses on governmental and economic system, it is more concerned with the assimilation of media like literature, film, television, internet, and music. Today, as mentioned earlier, it is one-sided, meaning that the affected culture media is not exported to the influencing culture. Most global media firms are owned by the same advanced core country, which dominate the production of the global media. So media is very helpful to us. Some of them can help through mass media. Right now, in the midst of the pandemic, media is very useful so that we cannot harm by the viruses and other kind of the bacteria. So next slide, please. One could argue that both cultural imperialism and global communication are closely like globalization. The worldwide movements towards to an interconnected worldwide corporation reach an international scale. So media is very important to us because we can see the other culture like the China through media. We can see what kind of culture they have, what food they eat, and also what kind of religion they have. One of the main example of media cultural imperialism today is that the US is considered a core country and partially extend its dominance through media flows. Thus, argue that media flows are closely related to economic powerful. The pair markets are the more able companies from economic power are dominate global markets. So USA is the core country. Some of these are like the Netflix. Netflix are originally from the US. We can see kind of movies that from are made from the US. So next slide please. Nanapaw tol. Balik. Consequently, US media and entertainment industry like Hollywood and Disney are able to penetrate the global markets and export US American cultural product and values. Studio like Warner Brothers and Disney are local production of facilities in Europe, Latin America, and Asia, creating country-specific programs there with keeping the US American culture. One can see the influence in Brazilian soap operas, for example, where a glamorous US American lifestyle is portrayed but with a Brazilianized face and touch, replicating the success of US American soap in selling countries. So cultural imperialism is very important to us. I think that's all.
Gu- Mana kami ko?
Manamigo, amigo.
So, okay. So, that's all, sir. So, I think we delivered our objectives correctly. Like, they discuss the history, analyze how various media, what is the role of media. We also give pros and cons, And is there globalization without media? And lastly, is media globalization a form of cultural imperialism? So that's all. So I hope you understand and um, understand our topic. And that's all. God bless. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.